This episode is brought to you by Heyday. Feeling stressed? Take a moment for yourself with Heyday. Stroll through rows of golden wheat, tend to cute barnyard animals, and discover the joys of a digital farm retreat. You don't have to hop in a car or catch a plane. Escape to the farm at the tap of a finger. With Heyday, you're not just tending to a farm, you're tending to yourself. Heyday. Search Heyday, that's Hay space DAY, in your favorite app store. Heyday is a free-to-play mobile game and offers optional in-app purchases and random rewards.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
I just saw basically the ceiling, on the bed where my son did sleep. So it was very hard for me to just be inside the room to know that, something, if that little boy didn't just knock to let my sister know that my room was on fire, that something could have went totally wrong.
This is the plaintiff, Kizzy Lewis. She says she rented an apartment from the defendant, and there was a fire in the house and all her belongings were ruined. The lousy defendant tried to blame her for causing the fire and refuses to reimburse her for the things she lost, even though the fire department ruled it was an electrical problem. Unbelievable. She's suing for $2,685.40, the value of her ruined belongings. This is the defendant, Terrence Locke. He says the plaintiff stopped paying rent, was using the system to live for free while an eviction process took place. And despite of all that, he's sorry her things were ruined by a fire. A fire, which was not caused by faulty electrical wiring, by the way. He tried to help this young girl out, and look what happened. He's accused of burning up a tenant.
All parties, please use your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Kizzy Lewis,
Yes.
You are suing Terrence Locke, your former landlord, for $2,685.40 in your damaged belongings, pain and suffering, and remainder of your security deposit that you want returned to you because there was a fire. Tell me about it.
Yes. So I had got a missed call from my sister, and then I got a text saying that...
Is this your sister?
Yes.
Okay.
I got a text saying that the house was on fire.
Okay, you put that on hold, and let's hear from the sister. What did you note? What did you see?
We didn't see anything. Me and my nephew was inside because I babysit him basically every day. I just finished making breakfast for him, and then there was a knock on the door. When I opened the door, there was a little boy, and I asked him what was the problem. He said the roof was on fire. So I got my nephew out, me and him went out, and then the next door neighbors called the fire department, and I had called my sister to tell her.
All right, and then, so you're standing outside watching.
Yes.
And what do you see?
I see the roof over my sister's house, the part was burning. The fire was getting
like
bigger
smoke.
and bigger.
But
Smoke.
Did you see actual
Fire.
flames, or you
saw
couldn't see flames?
The flames started to come up, and it started to move over to the next house.
Oh, good Lord. So did it catch on fire?
No, it was just smoke for the next house.
All right. So the fire department comes, how many fire trucks?
I'll say about 2 or 3
And
came.
And then what did they do? Just
They went straight inside.
go
They
nuclear
checked.
and
Yeah,
rip everything up? And
They ripped off everything in the room.
So what happens? All of your belongings get burned?
Yes.
And when do you get there?
I got there around 5, and I went inside, and I just saw the basically the ceiling on the bed where my son did sleep. So it was very hard for me to just be inside the room to know that something, if that little boy didn't just knock to let my sister know that my room was on fire, that something could have went totally wrong.
Okay, well, I'd like to think that you would notice that there was a fire going on eventually because people would knock on your door and the fire trucks would come and...
When the firefighters went inside the room, the remark to me when they came out was, when you inside the room, you don't smell anything. You don't see anything, you don't smell anything at all. So that's why me and my nephew we didn't know anything was happening.
How did the kid who knocked on your door find out there was something going on?
He must have seen from outside. Yeah, he saw it from outside. Everybody else saw it from outside, but from inside the house, you couldn't tell anything was happening.
So what happens? You go in and what do you see?
I go in, I see a hole through my roof. I see like the wood, the ceiling just basically on my bed. My TV just smashed. My whole room just rearranged. Like I just did like a whole bag of laundry. Like all that is just under rubble. And
do you have pictures?
Yes.
Okay. Here, I think I've got them up here. Is this your room?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What's the thing in the center?
That's a cable wire.
That's white thing.
My conditioner. That's my conditioner.
Okay. Your conditioner survived? Looks like a candle. Wow, this is the ceiling above you?
Yes.
Did they issue a report and find a cause for the fire?
Yes, they did.
Let me see.
They ruled it electrical malfunction, electrical wiring.
Malfunction of electrical wiring. Okay, but why? Like, do they know what happened?
They didn't really say when I was there.
Can I see the report? Yeah.
On the paper, it says that it was ruled electrical. It was electrical wiring, electrical malfunctions.
Okay, hold on. Cause of ignition. That's what starts the fire. It says under investigation. Is there a subsequent report?
I have a report.
A follow-up or from a different expert?
I have a report from my adjuster who got it from the company who does my insurance.
Got it.
Who says there was no cause. They couldn't find it.
Well, there's a cause, they just can't find it.
Well,
all right. Why? Factor contributing to ignition, electrical failure, malfunction, or other. That's kind of saying they don't know what caused it. I mean, something caused it.
It's not electrical cause.
Reference is made to the above. Please be advised we are the public adjusters representing Mr. Locke. Mr. Locke Insurance Company, Liberty Mutual, sent a no, give me the fire investigator's report. I'm not going to take this. You could have typed this, and by the way, there's some misspellings in the adjusters. I mean, I need the fire report from the adjuster. You said there was another fire report?
That is what he gave me in the last minute, and I ran and got $125 to go into the fire department to get the original report.
You know how easy it would be for him to get it from the fire investigator?
Because I know what the fire marshal from Liberty Mutual said to me.
He's not a fire marshal. He's an investigator for Liberty Mutual.
Who's been doing this for 30 years. And he told me.
Oh, that's great. Can I hear from him and not you and not the adjuster? I want to hear from him. I want to see his report.
Unfortunately, at this time, Judge.
Right, maybe we'll be able to take a recess and get you access to a phone and a computer and you know, someone from our staff, and maybe we'll be able to get it. Let's put a pin in that a second. So you come home, and what happens?
I come home and I was crying, and he was trying to apologize for like what happened, and I didn't want to hear it because when I was at work, like I felt he basically was trying to blame me for the fire.
How was he blaming you for the fire?
He's like, oh, I felt like he was kind of blaming me because he was like, oh, there's a fire. Somebody told me that there's a fire coming out of your room. Can you check it out? Can you check what's happening?
That's precautionary. What is he supposed to do?
I understand, but. Okay.
I mean, you know, because it kind of was right above your room. I mean, that's not, can you please go check it out, is not blaming you.
At that moment, I didn't know that. At that moment, I did not know that. Okay. I just assumed, because she said, like, the house was on fire. So I'm assuming, like, the top floor, not exactly the roof over my room.
Okay.
So, you know,
So you didn't want to hear him saying, gee, I'm so sorry this happened, and then what happens?
No, because, I mean, to say, when you text me, you could have asked me, was everybody okay?
All right, stop and listen. You move out, obviously. And today what you're suing for is your bed, 2 dressers, your clothes and shoes, the television, the remainder of your security deposit. What does that mean? Why not your whole security deposit? Had you not paid rent?
I did. No, I was living on my security deposit.
You're not supposed to do that.
He told me to keep my money, and then I was going to live out the security. I was going to live out my month's security. Well, he was giving me a 30-day notice.
Did you tell her that?
No.
I can't imagine.
I didn't tell her anything because I told her I couldn't take any more money from her legally because I started an eviction.
Because you started eviction, you wanted, but why did you start the eviction?
Because of her and her sister. I was nice enough to move them in. When she came to me with her mother at her young age, when I checked her credit report, it was very low. She had a hand-me-down job working at some fast food restaurant or what have you. So I said, you know what? You have your son. This is not what I'm really going to do, but being that you came with your mother and you said your back was against the wall, I helped you and moved her in, being a nice guy.
But weren't you charging rent?
She paid rent for about 3 months on time, and then after that, it was give me this. When she wanted to, she had the nerve to go on vacation when the rent day was 2 days. She called me. I kept calling her, where's the rent? You know, she tells me, well, I'm on vacation and I can't get good phone reception. I'll see you when I get back. And that's when I started. I said, you know what? I've had it with her. I've had it with her sister moving in. People are complaining that she's doing things in the house.
Who?
Just the other people that live there that I don't even
want to.
Doing
what in the house?
One time, she obviously burnt something in the kitchen.
Who did?
The sister, and you know she took the fire extinguisher out of the hallway and hid it because it was going off. I came there.
You don't mean the fire extinguisher, you mean the fire alarm?
The fire that makes the noise.
Alarm. Yeah, alarm.
I couldn't find it. I questioned her about it. She denied it. There were so many other issues because, there's other people in the house. She was moving people's food out the refrigerator. Her sister just, I didn't rent to your sister. I don't even want her there.
That's you he's talking about?
That's me.
Okay, so go ahead. All right,
It just
once
became an
she's
issue
2
that I
days
didn't
late
need to
and is
deal
on
with.
vacation and hasn't paid the rent, you've had it, so you file the eviction.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm not nice.
So you're proceeding with the eviction, that's when the fire happens?
The fire happened, I think, about 2-3 months after that. I got a call
did she pay rent any of those months?
No.
Oh, so how long was she there without paying rent?
Probably about 3.
Is that accurate?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you have proof of the last rent payment that you made?
I have a text message.
Let me see your phone.
Judge, I've always tried to be who I know that I am, a good, honest person, and you can't help people. And I repeatedly do this.
You do not.
Guys, this isn't what the case is about. It's a simple case. I mean, there's a fire, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of how the fire happened. I'm also, when I'm doing that, I get worried that the animosity between you two might be a sabotage and that somebody set the place on fire. I get worried about that. Whether it could be you, it could be him, it could be anybody. I have no idea. So I'm exploring all the possibilities of what it could be. I don't think that's it because she's in there with the boy. And I don't think that's it because that's your property. But I'm just telling you, stop.
It's not about that.
Listen,
it's not about that.
You need to cut the drama a little bit. I'm very sorry. You were at work and you didn't, stop.
Hold on.
It's either his fault or it's not his fault. You don't have renter's insurance, right?
For sure.
Stop, I'm not asking you. Do you have renter's insurance?
No.
Right. So for you to get him to pay for all of your belongings, it has to be his fault. That's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of. What caused the fire? And where's the phone? What are you doing behind me?
I'm waiting for you.
I don't like people behind me.
Even me?
All right. Well, no, all right. Okay, good. Then at 7:37 in the morning on the 25th, when you're supposed to pay the rest of the rent, good morning, Kizzy. Like to know if you have the money this morning. If you do, can you please leave it there? Kay, good morning. Can you actually just take the key and take it downstairs and put it in the table, slide it under the door? Really good, I would appreciate it. I left already. I slid it under the door. What does that mean? The key? What did you mean when you said
the money?
Slid the money under the door. Thank you. And then you ask on June 30th, you say, do you have my package? Yeah, when I see your sister, I'll give it to you. You don't say, where's the rent money for June? So clearly you paid June. Good morning. I'm just wondering if I could pick up the rent today. Okay, July 18th. What day is your rent due? The 1st or some other day?
The 19th.
That's an odd day. The 19th or the 18th? The 19th?
The 19th, and I give some time.
Okay, so here's July 18th. He says, good morning. I'm just wondering if I could pick up the rent today or tomorrow. And if tomorrow, what time? Good morning. I knocked on your door. I'm trying to pick up the rent. I will not be home till Saturday. You need to call me and tell me a situation and not text me. That's not what people do. To live in somebody else's house, you have to pay rent. You have to be more responsible. I'm waiting for a phone call from you so you can explain why I have to wait a whole week for my rent. Okay, this is not becoming really nice to me. I'm not feeling good about it. I think you got to the point where you think you can do whatever that you want in my house. He puts little asterisks. He doesn't actually say the whole word. Listen, I'm on vacation. It's hardly any reception out here. You can do as you please. If I'm not there, I'm not there. And then your answer to him saying, this is not how you do it. You don't just leave town and go on vacation, and then you haven't paid me my rent money. Essentially because he's figuring you're on vacation with his rent money. And you say, is there a problem? Do I need to tell the court that you're harassing me? I'm not your child.
That's another day.
It's another day? Yeah, it's 2 days later, but what's that about?
It was because I was in the kitchen and I was washing something, I believe, and he came in at that moment and he put down a microwave next to me, and I'm exiting, and he steps in front of me to prevent me from leaving, asking me if I'm not gonna leave his place, if I'm not gonna leave. So I'm not answering. I'm like, why are you blocking me from leaving? And I'm like, so I'm gonna take out my phone and record you if you're not gonna get in my way. So that's when he steps to the side. Yeah, it's on.
You want? Okay. Is this it?
Yes.
You just stepped in front of me, stopping me to move in front of you. Okay? I don't care about your nephew. I don't care. Tom, open the door. No, you didn't have to step in front of me, blocking me to pass. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Do not do that. Don't ever do that in your life. Don't ever. Don't take my age. No. Don't ask me anything. Don't stop me from passing. That's my point. Yes, you did.
Are you over there? How I stopped you from...
Okay, that's supposed to tell me what? That
was after he had moved out the way, because I wasn't. He moved out the way when I was talking about the recording, so.
Okay.
But me mentioning it and showing you is.
I need to find out what caused the fire. This report does not say faulty wiring caused the fire. And I want to see if I can shed some light on what the fire department wrote in this one. We are in recess.
All rise. Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So is it the landlord's fault if does he have to pay if there's an electrical fire or something like that? But he wasn't on notice of it. He didn't do anything wrong.
I wouldn't say it's his fault, but it's his responsibility.
So it is his responsibility. Okay, what do you say?
I would say it's the landlord's fault because that's part of the properties, right?
Your statement.
Landlords should be aware of anything that's going on around the house or the...
Fair enough, fair enough.
I wouldn't say it's their fault, depending on the situation or case, but it's contingent upon the landlord's responsibility to have compassion for it.
Yeah, well, you know what? Compassion isn't really the issue once you end up in court, is the issue. Going inside the courtroom.
What I have to decide here is one thing and one thing only, okay? And that's, is the fire attributable to him, which could either be he started it, which of course there's no evidence of, and why would he do that to his own place, or faulty wiring that he knew was faulty and that he did nothing to repair. Because it's not the case that if there's a fire, the landlord must pay for the tenant's belongings. That's not the law. You have to be able to point to something that he did, repairs on a roof that he never took care of, and that's what caved, or, repairs on electrical he had noticed were a problem, and yet he did nothing about it. And I'm not seeing that here. In fact, we spoke with the insurance company. The report that he doesn't have, do you know what that thing says?
Yes.
Now you know.
Now I know.
Now you know, in the recess. But here's what caused the damage, according to Liberty Mutual's, not his private adjuster who has his best interests at heart, but Liberty Mutual. Crawl space between second and third floor, animal nest. They apparently found burned animal nesting in the insulation and wood. And somehow this was a contributing factor, whether it's that there's an animal living up there. Did you ever hear like squirrels or anything, or raccoons, or, they were nesting in there and probably biting at the electrical. That's probably how it started. But I don't know. But I don't need to know. What I need to know is there any evidence in the case that it's his fault? And if it's not, then you're back to the renter's insurance situation like any other tenant, and that's what would compensate you for your problems, with the exception of the rent. Because if whether or not it's your fault, if you can't provide a habitable place for her from August 14th through August 19th, then you have to return the security deposit, the remaining portion of that security deposit. So as to her lawsuit against you, for the reasons I've described, you owe her $125 for the remainder of the rent. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
And after all that, it's a $125 collection to you on your part. What's your reaction to this?
I don't feel like it was fair.
Why the tears and everything you went through?
Because my son was in a burning building and never was it ever drama or anything like that. That's how I sincerely feel. And I left work as soon as she told me that my house was on fire. Like, who else wouldn't cry because their child was in a burning building? Like,
well, thank goodness everybody was safe. He's okay, right?
Yep.
All right, good. All right, sir, so step on in here. You're going to send 125 over to her side. What's your reaction to this outcome?
I let the judge make the decision. Whatever the judge's decision would have been, I would abide by it. She was a tenant in my house, and we had a fire, and she tried to blame it all on me. I didn't cause the fire. I'm sorry that she had a loss, and had she been a nicer person to me, I might have said, here's some money to help you out for your loss. But she was so mean. You get what you call for. That's that.
All right, Harvey. So the thing is that the landlord's not responsible if he had no notice of a problem, but once there is a problem like this, he can't continue to charge rent until the place is back in shape. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Finding a new job is stressful. But with Indeed, it doesn't have to be. Just fill out your Indeed profile with your skills, experience, and desired salary. The more you fill out, the better your matches will be. And hearing from hiring managers will be 2 times more likely. Relax. That's your Indeed profile sending opportunities your way. Indeed, the world can work better.
The new McCrispy Strip is here. Dip approved by ketchup, tangy barbecue, honey mustard, Sprite, McFlurry, Big Mac sauce, double dipped in buffalo and ranch, more ranch, and creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
These are the plaintiffs, Thomas Valerie and Carrie Barbato. Thomas says his daughter Carrie parked her car in front of the defendant's house and punctured her tire because the curb had a dangerous spike sticking out of it. It's up to the homeowner to maintain the curb in front of their house. Clearly, the defendant did not, and they are now owed $236.78, the cost of a new tire. This is the defendant, Thomas Castellano. He says he moved into the house a few years ago. The curb was already in place. He made no changes to it, and the girl crashed into it while parking. Of course, she damaged her tire, but it was her fault. He has no responsibility for the curb. His town does, and he owes nothing. He's accused of rubbing a father and a daughter the wrong way.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant's responsible for a spike sticking out of the curb that punctured his tire, but the defendant says it's not her fault and he's not responsible for the curb. It's the case of he curbed my enthusiasm.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay. Thomas and Linda Valerie, the car's under Linda's name, and Carrie Barbato, you are suing Thomas Castellano for $236.78 for a new tire because, according to you, his negligence in maintaining a curb caused your tire to be damaged. What's going on?
I was parking my car in front of his house.
And you were there? You don't live in that area?
No, I had business to do with his next door neighbor.
Okay.
So I was parking in front of his house. I didn't hit the curb, just slided into the right parking spot. All of a sudden, I heard a pop and a really loud hissing sound. I'd never heard anything like that before, and it was loud enough that the other neighbor came out to see what that was. When I got out of the car, the sidewall of my tire was completely ripped, and the tire was instantly flat.
Okay.
The curb, the way that it was designed or put in or whatever, had metal spikes sticking out of it on the outside of the curb that you couldn't see. Yes.
Okay. That you couldn't see?
No, because they're black, which matched the road, and the curb was wood.
Okay, I need you to pull out from that stack what you're talking about so that I can see it in the picture.
They might be better on my phone. If you
That's
want me to
fine.
show you on my phone?
Sure.
Okay. Can you see that black spot right there?
Yeah, okay.
It's like an iron spike.
This whole rectangle that goes from here to here to
That's
here?
exactly right.
But that's not a spike. What is that?
It is a metal spike. It's just that I'm looking down on it. The wood is like this, and this is here. It's like a giant nail is really what it is. And they have them maybe every 3 feet.
Okay, I see another one up here.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about,
Yeah.
right? Go ahead and go back.
Okay.
So, what'd you do?
Oh, panicked.
Okay, well, don't panic. It's just a tire, but what'd you do then after that?
I called my parents. I called my dad.
Okay.
Because it was their car.
Right.
And then we called roadside assistance.
Okay, and so they did what for you?
They changed the tire.
And then as it turns out, you had to buy a new tire.
Right.
And that's what you're suing for because you feel it's the homeowner's fault.
Right.
Okay, let me hear from you.
Well, first of all, I moved into the house July 2014, just over a year ago. And going through that process with my inspections and surveys and whatnot, this is something that never was brought up as a problem, with the curb. I've never received any kind of documentation from the town that it's something that I had to change, maintain.
Tell me about the area you live. Is this a public road or is this a private street from your development or something?
It's a public road.
Is the whole street that way?
No, it is
Just
not.
in front of your house?
Yes,
Do you have better pictures of it?
I do have some pictures.
Yeah,
yes.
let me see yours. Do you know when the spikes were placed there?
No, I do not.
Why is this his fault? What evidence do you have to suggest? By the way, this is like an inch away. Yeah, you were kind of pretty close.
Right, I understand, but it's definitely bigger than an inch.
What is it, an inch and a half? I mean, the thing is, I'm looking at them here, and this picture is a pretty good picture, actually. And then you misjudge how close you're getting to it, and you end up getting a flat. But let's say that it's someone's fault and not yours.
You can't see it.
Then why? I understand. So,
Yeah.
but sometimes bad things happen to us,
Right.
and the guy who lives in that house
Absolutely.
doesn't have to pay.
You're right.
So I'm just trying to figure out if this is a public road, what evidence do you have that this would be his responsibility as opposed to the town's?
The town of Islip does not allow railroad tie curbs. The town of Islip gave me, which is called right-of-way work permit, in order for a homeowner to put a curb. The town doesn't own any of the curbs. The homeowner can install Belgian block or concrete.
Okay, what work permit are you looking at?
This is from
that house?
This is the town of
It's the
Islip.
town rules.
This is the town rules in order to.
Okay, but what were the town rules 20 years ago when whoever lived there put those in and then they're grandfathered in? Do you have any evidence of that?
As far as I know, and what the town told me, they haven't changed. The work permit that the town submitted to me, the
Show me what
choice-
you got.
In order to put a curb in, you have to have a permit. The permit states that the town is free and clear
Is this a permit for this house?
No.
Okay.
There was no permit.
Again,
There
you
was
need
no
to
permit.
understand what I'm asking you, all right? Your town has rules, and they can change the rules whenever they want, okay? All you've shown me is a blank permit that you, I guess, took from the counter or they gave to you, showing that if someone were to put in a curb today, this is what they would have to abide by. This is a road that is publicly owned. This is a curb that somebody put in at some point, not him. And you're telling me the only way you can get this guy to pay you $238 for a tire is if you show me proof that he is responsible for maintaining this one, not one that he would build today, but this one at the time that it was built. Do you know when this railroad tie was put in?
No, because there was no permit issued.
Right.
However, the town's regulations, which I have a copy of here, indicate the homeowner's responsibility for maintaining his property.
So is the homeowner responsible if there's a spike sticking out of the curb that punctures a tire?
No, they're not. It's owned by the city, so it's the city's property.
Sounds reasonable to me. What do you think?
I would agree. It's the city's property.
Seems pretty cut and dry to me. Okay, I'll buy what you two said, going inside the courtroom.
What is failed to be maintained here? This is the way this railroad tie was constructed. Next time, don't get so close to a railroad tie. But this is exactly the way the thing was put in to make sure the wood didn't go this way. The rail is in front of it. And I've seen it like that numerous times. What did he do wrong? If the thing is an illegal thing to possess, and he has some obligation to upgrade it and bring it up to code, then prove that to me, because I'm not seeing anything in anything you showed me that says that. What did he not maintain? That's how the darn thing was built well before he got there. What did he not maintain?
Your Honor, I believe in the pictures that you've got among that packet, the railroad ties for the rest of the area or that area are all rotten and, in fact,
I don't know what
missing.
you're talking about. I'm going to show you his railroad ties, which are the only ones I care about. In these pictures, it's very, very clear what happened. The metal that's an inch, you were still cutting it awful close, an inch or an inch and a half wide is staked into the ground to block the wood from going towards the street.
Can I see the other pictures, please?
Your pictures?
Your pictures?
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, that what? What did he do wrong?
If you look at these pictures, okay, and I seriously question whether this
You
picture.
can see where my car is in this picture.
Folks, what did he do wrong?
Okay.
Failed to maintain.
Every bad thing that happens to us doesn't mean somebody else has to pay. What did he do wrong?
Failed to maintain.
How? What could he have
Your Honor,
maintained there?
If you look at the pictures, okay, you'll see the rotten wood, the condition. If you have a home, and the home has a dangerous condition.
Wait, stop. Okay. What rotten wood?
Right there.
First of all, is that where your daughter hit it?
No.
Okay,
that's the rest
if that's
of the car.
not where she hit it, what difference does it make? Folks, you know what? Park more carefully. Verdict for the defendant. This is a city street. That is a condition that existed when he bought it. If I were you, I wouldn't want that condition in front of me. But unless you bring me evidence that this is illegal to possess, which you haven't, then no, he doesn't have to pay for it because you don't see that where you're parking and you're cutting it an inch and a half away from a wooden curb. No.
All right, right next to me here, sometimes bad things happen, and it's not the other person's fault.
Basically, the judge's decision said, quite frankly, that if you buy a house and a dangerous condition exists, you don't have to correct it.
Did you park a little too close to the curb, possibly?
I'm parking next to the curb. I didn't hit the curb. I didn't bump anything. It ripped the side of the tire.
Yeah. All right, around the corner this way. All right, what do you think of their argument?
I don't really think they had a very good argument. I'm glad with the outcome, obviously. I didn't feel that I was in any way responsible for this.
What if this happens again now? Want to go through this again?
No, I do not. I mean, I do plan on changing that curb just because cosmetically I'd like to change it one day, but at this time it's not something I'm looking to do right away.
Harvey, what do you think?
Okay, I can do this short and sweet, Kurt. He has absolutely no responsibility for maintaining that curb. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This message is brought to you by Abercrombie Kids, where the activewear is made for every summer activity, so your mini-me can bring their personal best. Summer days are always an adventure, from day camp to rec leagues and pool days. Abercrombie Kids has the shorts, tees, and swim to keep them comfy and keep up with them. Get everything for the entire summer at Abercrombie Kids. Shop in-store, online, or in the app.
This is the plaintiff, Robert Gaines. He says he and his girlfriend bought bedroom furniture from the defendant, and the crook tried to pull a switcheroo a day before delivery. When he inquired about a missing dresser and nightstand, the swindler told him it would cost extra, but he knows those items were included in his original deal. Since the defendant's trying to rip him off, he wants every penny of the $4,500 he gave him returned. This is the defendant, Dimitri Trinnell. He says he wrote up an invoice for all the pieces of furniture the plaintiff ordered. And then at the last minute, he decided he no longer wanted the stuff and demanded a refund. His company did nothing wrong. He was perfectly willing to deliver the items and owes nothing to no one. He is accused of fudging on the furniture.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff bought bedroom furniture from the defendant and says he got swindled. He didn't get all he paid for, but the defendant says it was all on the up and up. It's the case of You Ain't Top Drawer.
Thank you, Douglas. Robert Gaines, you are suing Orbit Furniture and Mattress, represented here by Dimitri Trinnell. You're the owner, for $4,500 that you want returned to you because, according to you, they breached the contract. What happened there?
I went to Orbit Furniture Company. I'm trying to buy furniture for a brand new apartment. When I went to the store,
Demetrius showed me around the store and told me that, you know, what he was going to sell to me. And when we came to a bedroom set, first of all, I got a living room set, a bedroom set, a dining room set, and a couple other pieces. So when he told me what he's going to sell to me, he showed me the bedroom set. He told me he was going to sell me the bed, the mattress, the headboard, the mirror, the dresser, and a nightstand. And a day before the delivery, he canceled on it. He said all he told me was the bed. It wasn't no dresses.
What about the living room and all the other stuff?
All that stuff was still on the list. But he
Wait,
said,
he called you, he said, I'm delivering tomorrow.
Right.
And then he says, this is what I'm delivering.
Right, exactly.
And then you tell him, wait, you're missing the mirror and the dresser and the nightstand.
Yes.
Okay. And he says, what mirror, what dresser, and what nightstand?
Basically, yes.
Right. So did you look at the receipt?
Yes.
And is it on there?
No.
But your discussion with him at the store was that that was being sold to you.
Exactly.
Did you read what you signed on the receipt?
Well, before I signed the receipt, I said, basically, we shopping around. So before I sign this, can I get a full refund if I find it somewhere cheaper or better? He said, yeah, sure, no problem. So that's what made me sign the receipt.
Is that what the receipt says?
No.
Okay. So let me see the receipt. Here's where the problem's going to be. I have a feeling, I'm going to ask him now his version,
okay.
and I have a feeling he's going to stick to the receipt. That's
Right.
the written proof in the case. And then you be thinking about how you're going to persuade me that I need to believe the things you're saying as opposed to what you signed. Go ahead. What happened?
He came into the store and we did look around.
Okay, yeah, you can go back. You can kind of fast forward through that.
Okay.
Okay. So he says that when you talked to him there,
right,
that you were selling him as well the mirror, the dresser, and the nightstand.
No such a thing was discussed. The only item out of the bedroom set he selected was the actual bed.
And you didn't say to him, well, what about the nightstand and what about the dresser? Did you say, you didn't say that to him?
Well, it's a storage bed, so the only thing that they were concerned about is a lot of storage on the bed. So again, we just went over to the bedroom set. He looked at the bed, stood by the bed. I mean, the bed was the only discussion in the conversation.
Oh, you
and
mean
then
he
we
never discussed the dresser and the
never
nightstand?
was discussed, absolutely not, no.
So what ended up happening? He tells you,
I told
forget
him
it, don't bring me anything, I don't want anything from your store.
Correct.
He got mad?
He got mad, yes.
Okay, and so where's the furniture now?
Still at my warehouse.
Okay, have you put some thought into?
Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, as him being a salesperson, we all know that he's gonna at least try to sell me the dresser and all of that stuff, right? He's saying he never said nothing about the dresser. All that was part of the package. When he told me, yo, you're getting the dresser, you're getting a nightstand, and you're getting the bed and the mattress. Why would I go in the store if I'm getting for a brand new apartment, why would I go in the store and just get a bed?
I don't know, people can do that. You might decide you want some of it. I mean, all you had to read were the following words: queen bed, queen mattress and board, and what? Board? Board. Table and chairs, sofa bed, love seat, TV unit, coffee table, free pillow. Those are the only words on your contract. All you would have to do is see that. Well, how did you not see that other things you say you ordered aren't here?
So is this plaintiff out of luck? What do you think?
You snooze, you lose. That's the way it goes.
Snooze, you lose?
Yeah, I agree with him.
Exactly. Once you left, it's a wrap. It's done.
We should have looked at the receipt.
Look at the receipt.
No doubt about it. Going inside the courtroom.
And when you said I ordered a living room set, you ordered a sofa bed and a love seat. That's what you ordered, right? I assume, did the sofa bed and love seat of the style that he ordered, does it have chairs?
Yes, of course.
Did he order the chairs?
No, he didn't.
Okay, so you're picking out what you're getting, you know? You ended up putting down a $2,000 deposit, correct?
Yes.
I just, you can't, what is it that you had offered to do for him?
We offer store credit on amount that he left in the store. If his purchase is equal or greater to the merchandise that he's canceling. If not, it's subject to 30% restocking fee.
Well, I don't know what you're going to resolve with him. He's willing to offer you something that, you may or may not want. And I suggest that before you answer, you think about it. Because you can't win this case. You can't just say, trust me, I was supposed to get a bunch of more stuff. I'm looking at your contract. Your contract has like 5 items on it. It's so clear, and you needed to have figured out what you're buying. I know you feel like you're being cheated. I think that this is a misunderstanding. And I kind of think that if you had said, wait, what about X, Y, and Z, that you would have been paying more than the 47 whatever for it. All he's asking you to do is pay what you got to pay for it. I don't know if you guys can work something out, but my job is done. The only thing I have to decide is, am I going to make that man give you a free mirror, dresser, and nightstand that is not in your contract? And the answer is no. I can't do that.
Right.
So in terms of this case, my verdict is for the defendant. And hopefully you won't charge that restocking fee, and you'll let him, figure it out and be able to use that $2,000. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
And so that's the verdict. It goes in the defendant's favor here. Turn around this way and face this way.
Oh, okay.
What's your feeling coming out? You just weren't clear enough about what you were getting.
Right. I just wanted, I guess I just wanted my money back, but I guess, the ruling went the other way, so it was no big problem.
Yeah, well, why weren't you more clear about what you should have been expecting to get?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I thought it was what it was.
Yeah, it is what it was.
Yeah.
It was.
All right.
All right, follow him this way. Yeah, it was what it was. Step on in here. What are you going to do for the guy?
Hoping that he can come to the store and we can solve it out and then, continue.
What's your response to what the judge said at the end there, hoping that maybe you waive the restocking fee so we can use the $2,000? What do you think about that? Will you do it?
I think we can come to a certain agreement. I don't know.
You willing to go that far?
I'm willing to do a lot for my customers, yes.
All right, so you're going to be in contact with him when...
Of course, yes, absolutely.
When you leave here?
Yes.
All right, over to Harvey.
Okay, Kurt, you know what? Everybody assumes you get a receipt, you never look at it, you throw it in the bag, and I will say I'm guilty of the same thing. However, when you're buying big ticket items and you want to make sure that you're going to get everything that you paid for, you've got to spend the 20 seconds that it takes to look over and make sure you're getting what you paid for.